Welcome to FairPlay Football AI Review. The United States just did something remarkable. They beat Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0 with 10 men, and they did it at Levi's Stadium in front of 68,827 fans who witnessed one of the most emotionally complicated victories in recent American football history. This was a round of 32 match at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and for the host nation, the stakes could not have been higher. The United States entered this match having finished their group stage with 6 points from 3 games, good enough to advance, but now they faced elimination football, a single loss, and you go home. Bosnia and Herzegovina, by contrast, arrived here as underdogs who had already been eliminated from their group, but were given this opportunity through the expanded tournament format. For them, this was a chance at football immortality on the grandest possible stage. The pre-match storyline centered almost entirely on Folarin Balogun, the AS Monaco striker who had already scored twice in the group stage and was chasing a piece of American football history. Bert Patenaude scored 4 goals for the United States at the 1930 World Cup, the all-time record for an American in a single tournament. Balogun, just 1 goal behind that mark heading into this match, was the name on every set of lips inside that stadium. Mauricio Pochettino set his United States side up in a 4-3-3, a formation built to press high, create overloads in wide channels, and funnel the ball quickly to Balogun through the center. The fullbacks, Serginho Dest and Anthony Robinson, were tasked with providing width, while the midfield trio of Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie, and Malik Tillman offered both defensive cover and late box arrivals. This was an aggressive attacking setup that trusted the American midfield to win second balls and transition quickly. Sergei Barbares deployed Bosnia in a 5-3-2, a deeply pragmatic choice designed to frustrate and compress the space that Pochettino's wide forwards thrive in. 5 defenders gave Bosnia numerical security in the back line, with the 2 forwards, Edin Dzeko and Ermedin Demirovic, tasked with holding the ball under pressure and creating moments on the counter. The 3-man midfield of Gigovic, Sunjic, and Alajbegovic was asked to do enormous defensive work, particularly in tracking the American midfield runners. The tactical battle between these 2 shapes created one fundamental mismatch. The United States fullbacks consistently found themselves with time and space against Bosnia's wingbacks, who were positioned deep and reluctant to press high. Robinson in particular had acres of room down the left, and that corridor became the platform from which the Americans launched the majority of their most dangerous moments in the first half. The opening exchanges were controlled and purposeful from the United States. Bosnia were content to sit in their shape, allow the Americans possession in non-threatening areas, and look for moments to spring Dzeko on the counter. The home side had 52% of the ball at the half, but it was the quality of their attacking moments, not the quantity, that told the real story of the opening 45 minutes. The most electric moment before the breakthrough came in the 31st minute, when Balogun thought he had broken the deadlock and the stadium erupted, only for VAR to intervene and rule him offside by the narrowest of margins, just a step too far past his nearest defender. The crowd went from euphoria to disbelief in seconds. Christian Pulisic also had a bundled effort ruled out for offside later in the half, adding to the growing sense that the Americans were doing everything right except staying onside. Then, deep into first-half stoppage time, Balogun struck the crossbar from close range, his shot from a tight angle cannoning off the woodwork and out of play. The Americans were dominating the danger areas but could not quite find the net. The breakthrough finally came on the stroke of halftime. Tim Ream intercepted a Bosnia goal kick at midfield. Smart, aggressive positioning from the experienced defender. And Tillman played a precise through ball to find Balogun in the box. The striker did not hesitate, sliding a composed, left-footed finish inside the far post. His 3rd goal of the tournament. 1 short of Bert Patenaude's 96-year-old record. 1-0 to the United States at the break. The halftime assessment was straightforward. The Americans had been the better side, had created more dangerous situations, but had also wasted energy on disallowed goals and the woodwork. Bosnia had shown they could hurt the Americans on the counter, with Demirovic winning 7 fouls and constantly irritating the American defense. The second half was always going to hinge on which team could maintain their intensity. Bosnia came out at halftime with a completely transformed identity, and Barbares made his intentions absolutely clear. All 3 substitutions arrived simultaneously at the 51st minute. Esmir Bajraktarevic replaced Armin Gigovic, Benjamin Tahirovic replaced Ivan Sunjic, and Ermin Mahmic came on for the veteran Edin Dzeko. This was a complete reshaping of the Bosnian midfield. Fresher legs, more energy, and a clear instruction to press higher and make the second half a contest. The triple substitution shifted the momentum immediately. Bosnia began winning the ball higher up the pitch. Bajraktarevic's pace caused problems in behind the American backline, and for a period in the mid-second half, the visitors looked genuinely capable of getting back into the match. The United States were forced to defend deeper and transition less freely. Then came the moment that changed everything. In the 64th minute, Folarin Balogun received a straight red card. The initial contact was not flagged by the referee on the pitch. Rafael Klaus did not believe it was a bookable offense, but VAR official Juan Soto sent him to the monitor, where replays showed clearly that Balogun had dragged his studs down the back of Tarik Muharremovic's leg and stepped on his ankle, causing the defender's ankle to turn. The dismissal was brutal for the Americans. Their top scorer, their main threat, and a man chasing history was walking off the pitch with 26 minutes plus stoppage time remaining and the scoreline at just 1-0. Playing with 10 men against a Bosnia side that had just been reinvigorated by 3 fresh substitutions, the United States showed extraordinary tactical discipline. Pochettino reorganized the shape to protect the lead, compressing the midfield and making Bosnia work for every meter of territory. Adams and McKennie were magnificent in that phase, tireless, brave, and technically precise under enormous pressure. The decisive moment of the match arrived in the 82nd minute, and it belonged to Malik Tillman. Stjepan Radeljic was booked for a foul at the edge of the Bosnia box, and Tillman stepped up to take the resulting free kick. He curved it beautifully over the defensive wall towards the near post, where it clipped the outstretched glove of goalkeeper Nikola Vasilj before spinning into the net. 2-0. 10-man United States had put the match completely beyond doubt. At that same moment, Barbares was shown a yellow card on the touchline for protesting, a measure of how utterly the Americans had defied the odds. In terms of possession, the statistics read 52% Bosnia to 48% United States, a genuinely misleading set of numbers. Bosnia's dominance of the ball was largely peripheral and unthreatening, cycling possession across their back 5 and in front of their midfield without ever genuinely testing Matt Friis. The Americans had fewer touches in dangerous zones, but used theirs with far greater precision and purpose. Looking at the attacking threat, the expected goals told the most honest story of the evening. The United States generated an XG of 1.26 against Bosnia's 0.5, and Balogun alone accounted for 4 total shots including his woodwork effort. Demirovic had 3 shots on target for Bosnia and was a consistent menace, but the quality of chances created by Karim Alajbegovic, who also had 4 shots, rarely translated into genuine danger for Friis, who made 3 saves and kept a clean sheet with considerable composure. Defensively, the Americans were remarkable. Facing 26 minutes at 10 men, they restricted Bosnia to shots that were largely from distance or from unfavorable angles. Chris Richards was composed and authoritative. Tim Ream read the game brilliantly all evening, and Anthony Robinson was exceptional, combining his attacking contributions in the first half with ferocious defensive work in the second. Bosnia mustered 36% of the match's dangerous attacks despite having more overall possession, a clear sign of how well the American defensive structure functioned. The standout performer for the United States was unquestionably Malik Tillman. He played the full 90 minutes, made 3 decisive tackles, completed 32 passes, and ultimately settled the match with a technically brilliant free kick that required both precision and nerve. His role in the build-up to Balogun's opener, the perfectly weighted through ball, was just as important as the goal itself. 2 decisive contributions in a match that demanded everything. For Bosnia, Kerim Alibegovic was the one genuine creative spark. He completed 64 passes, created multiple half chances from deep and wide positions, and his energy and industry in both halves was a constant irritant to the American shape. With 4 total shots, 2 of them blocked, he worked harder than almost anyone on the pitch and deserved more support from his teammates in the final third. The player who underperformed most visibly was Edin Dzeko. Bosnia's captain and all-time top scorer was hooked at half-time after managing just 1 shot, which struck the woodwork, and 31 passes across a flat and largely anonymous 45 minutes. At 39 years old, the demands of pressing against a high-energy American midfield were clearly beyond him on this occasion, and Barbarese's decision to withdraw him at the break was the right call. Pochettino's management of this game was close to flawless, right up until the red card removed the tactical luxury of managing his strikers' minutes. The triple substitution from Bosnia at halftime was bold and correct in principle. It just came too late, with the Americans already protecting a lead and growing more comfortable with every passing minute. Barbarese's team were always playing catch-up once Balogun scored just before the interval. This was only the second time these two nations have ever met at a World Cup level, and this result, a convincing American clean sheet in a knockout stage match, sets a clear psychological precedent. The United States now hold the upper hand in this young rivalry, having delivered a performance that combined clinical finishing, tactical intelligence, and outstanding defensive resilience. The Americans entered this match having beaten Australia 2-0 and Paraguay 4-1 in the group stage, but suffered a 3-2 defeat to Turkey. That defeat showed a team capable of making mistakes under pressure. This performance showed a team capable of correcting them. With 6 points from their group and now a knockout stage win, the form trajectory under Pochettino points firmly upward. Bosnia and Herzegovina arrived here having beaten Qatar 3-1 and Italy 4-1 in their most recent form, results that suggested genuine momentum. But their group stage also included a 4-1 hammering by Switzerland and a draw with Canada, indicating a team capable of extremes. This defeat ends their 2026 campaign, and for Dzeko, now 39, it is almost certainly his final appearance on a World Cup stage. On qualification, the picture is stark. Bosnia and Herzegovina are eliminated. Their tournament is over. For the United States, advancing to the round of 16 means a meeting with Belgium on July 7th, a genuinely fearsome opponent with top-level European talent across every line. Pochettino's squad will need to be close to full strength, and with Balogun suspended following his red card, the attacking lineup faces a significant reshuffle. The challenge of facing Belgium is enormous, potentially their most difficult test yet in this tournament. Balogun's absence is not a minor inconvenience, it is the removal of their most potent forward at the exact moment the stakes are at their highest. Ricardo Pepi, who came on briefly, and Timothy Weah will need to step up in a role that has been owned completely by Balogun so far. This was a 2-0 victory that tells a far more complex story than the scoreline suggests. A match of disallowed goals, a crossbar, a controversial red card, and a 10-man defensive masterclass that somehow produced a second goal in the final minutes. The United States earned every digit of that scoreline through collective courage and tactical intelligence. Bosnia gave everything they had, but were ultimately unable to breach a wall that refused to come down. The bigger meaning of this result is about belief. 10 men for the final quarter of a knockout game still found a way to score a second goal and walk off the pitch with a clean sheet. That is the definition of a team that trusts its system and each other. The road gets harder from here, but tonight the Americans proved they belong in this conversation. This has been FairPlay, Football AI Review. Next up for the United States, Belgium on July 7th, in what promises to be one of the most compelling round of 16 fixtures of this entire tournament. We will have full analysis ahead of kickoff. Do not miss it. That's the FairPlay verdict on this one. If you want more analysis like this, follow us. Find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at FairPlay AI, and follow Anthony personally on X at Anthony Fairplay. See you next match.